guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am continuing my top 5 series, and this month we are going to talk about my top 5 primers. Now, primers are very personal, just like foundations. I feel like really complexion products, concealers, primers, foundations, powders are way more personal than like a blush or a bronzer because they are a little bit more universal in my opinion. So I do want to start off by saying I have normal skin that occasionally gets dry in the winter, occasionally, and in the summer, I mean, really, I don't really get oily. I just maybe sweat more, you know? So, I mean, I have to contend with like the shininess per se, but I don't, you know, have oily skin. It is fairly normal. I have a little bit bigger pores than I used to when I was in my 20s. I think all of us have to deal with that at some point or another. But other than that, I don't have any huge skin concerns. So know that going in because primers are personal. I will tell you whether or not I recommend these primers for dry skin, oily skin, normal skin, etc., etc., etc. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to go in any particular order. I actually only have 5 this time. I know most of my top 5s end up being like 6 or 7, but I do only have 5. Some of them I've had for years upon years, and some of them I've had for 2 weeks. One of them I've had for 2 weeks, and that's the impression that it has left on me, that it's got a spot in my top 5 already. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Again, I'm not going to go in any particular order, except I am going to save my favorite for last. All right, I'm going to start with this. This particular one was sent to me, but I will say that I had purchased probably 3 of these before that, and it's the Dr. Brandt Pores No More Pore Refining Primer. I have said before I got this full size, I would only get the half sizes. At that time, the half size was significantly cheaper if you bought 2 of them to make the full size than it was the full size. But I just looked it up. This retails for $45 for an ounce. The half an ounce retails now for $22. It did not used to retail for that. I feel like it was either $18 or $20. And Dr. Brandt must have caught on that it just wasn't, it didn't make sense to make this more than the half size buying 2. So now you only save $1 if you were to buy 2. So you might as well just go ahead and buy this full size because the smaller size does not have a pump where this one does. So this is a thick consistency primer, and it is a little bit of a skin tone, but I don't think it's enough skin tone to turn you off if you're very fair or even dark. It might turn a little ashy if you have a super deep skin tone, but it'd still be worth going to check it out in the store. And it just really, it honestly leaves your skin so silky. This is probably the only one of the ones I'm going to talk about where I would wear on its own. Like if I was not going to wear makeup because I had to run out real quick and run an errand, or if it was just one of those days where I just didn't feel like wearing makeup, which if I'm honest, that's not very many days, but sometimes it's just so hot and I just don't have anything to do, so there's no point. But if I want to go to the store or something, I'll pop this on and it just evens and smooths my skin enough to make me feel comfortable without wearing the full-on makeup. And it gives yourself such a flawless finish. Now, it is a silicone-based primer. I believe all the ones I'm going to talk about are. I'll get to that. But some people do not like dimethicone or silicone-based primers. I get that. Some people react to dimethicone. They don't think it's good for their skin. I get that. That's another reason primers are so personal. This one, however, does not feel like the typical silicone primer, like a Smashbox Photo Finish primer or the Lancome Le Base Pro or something, where it's basically clear silicone coming out of the tube. This does not feel like that. So even though it is very high in dimethicone, it doesn't give that feeling. So if the only reason you're against a silicone-based primer is the feel that it gives you, I would still check this out because I don't feel like it feels like that. The next one is my favorite all-time primer for my kit, which says a lot because I feel like it is very, very rare that I do not use this primer in some capacity. And it is the Hourglass Mineral Veil Broad Spectrum SPF 15 Primer. Now, my lights are washing it out, but that's it right there. You know, some people are going to say SPF 15, doesn't that give you flashback? No, it does not give me flashback. It does not give my clients flashback. It has too much foundation and powder and other products on top of it to show through. Now, this is the Big Daddy bottle, which retails for $75. Now, I almost would be silly not to stock this jumbo size in my kit because I do use it so much. It is the most cost-effective way to buy it. But if you are just a single person wanting to look for a primer, I would definitely, you know, get the normal size, which is still a little expensive at 1 ounce. It's $54, but they also have a 0.3 ounce travel size for $19. So if you wanted to try this out, you know, that might be the best route to go at first. It may not be the most cost effective, but if you don't even know you're going to like it, it's going to be the cheapest and most affordable option. Now, the active ingredients in the SPF is an actual physical sunscreen. So if you are sensitive to even the smallest amounts of chemical sunscreens, you will still be able to use this primer. I don't know how to really describe this. It comes out white. If you haven't seen it, most of us probably have. It's almost a liquidy texture, like it's not like a lotion per se, and it will blend out to nothing, but again, it leaves that very silky feel. The difference, I think, between these two is that this doesn't have a tint to it. This one, being a skincare line, does claim to have a little bit of skincare benefits to it. This one does not. They both smooth out lines and pores. This one will feel just a little bit lighter on your skin. Now, some people will say it will leave a white cast. If you use an excessive amount of this, it most definitely will. You do not need a lot of this. One pump, like this one is a squeeze tube, but the regular size comes with a pump, is too much for a face, which is another reason I kind of recommend this, because you can manipulate how much comes out a little bit better than the pump. But I would say half a pump is more than enough than you need. If you do use an excessive amount, you will get some type of white cast on your skin, especially if you have a medium to tan to dark skin tone. So just be aware of how much you're using. But honestly, this one I think is more geared towards oily skin. Maybe if you have super dry skin, you wouldn't like it. This one, I've used it on both. It will not budge. Your makeup will not budge on this. This is why it's my favorite primer for brides, because honestly, it stands the test of time when you put makeup over it. There's something magical about that primer when it comes to longevity and just the smoothness that it gives your face. I use it on all ages. Okay, the next one is the only luminous primer that I have in my collection, and the reason is because if I want to have a luminous finish, I will either pick a foundation that has a luminous finish, or I will mix a luminizer in with a more matte foundation. I sometimes feel like, not all the time, I sometimes feel like that when you use a luminous primer, it kind of gets hidden behind some of the other things. Unless you're using like a sheer foundation on top of it, sometimes I feel like it kind of goes, it's kind of a moot point, you know, like by the time I get everything else on, how much am I actually going to see that luminosity peeping through? The one that I picked, again, this was sent to me, does not in any way determine whether or not I'm going to pick it, because it was sent to me probably over a year ago, and it's the most expensive out of all the ones that I'm talking about, and it's the Lancer Danny Glowing Skin Perfector. I don't talk about this enough. It does come with a pump. It is 1 ounce, and it's $95. Okay, but I think the reason that it's so expensive is because it is Lancer, which is a very reputable skincare line, so it does claim to have skincare benefits added into it. It says it harnesses the superior use supporting properties of Asian botanicals to help firm the look of aging skin, diffuse imperfections, and blur pore visibility for a smoother, visibly lifted effect. Claims that it's for all skin types. I would say that's right. Like if you have oily skin types, you know what you're getting into when you use an illuminating primer. So it's not that it's going to make you oilier. It may make you look oilier, but that's something that you're aware of before you put it on your face. It does come out in like kind of a white cream finish, and then when you rub it in, one of the reasons I love it so much is it is silky. It does kind of become tacky, which is good to put makeup on top, but it's not an over-the-top, in-your-face illuminator. It just has a very soft, very subtle glow. If you have more mature skin and you're scared to use the like hyped up Becca backlight priming filter and all these super shimmery, like kind of over-the-top sometimes primers, this would be perfect for you because it's just the right amount of shimmer and glow. It doesn't even have visible shimmer. It's just a nice glow. It does help kind of smooth everything out because of the illusion of radiance that it provides. I don't know about, you know, the lasting skincare benefits because I don't use it every day, and so I can't give it like a, you know, an honest review on the actual skincare benefits. But if it's something that, you know, you want to splurge on and you're not like a huge collector like I am, and you do want to see, you know, if it has skincare benefits because you use it every day, you might be pleasantly surprised. I have some other Lancer products that I've really enjoyed, so I would definitely check this out. It does have silicone in it, but it's like the 10th ingredient, so it's not going to be super heavy. It is more like a moisturizing cream than a silicone primer. This one is the one that I have only had for like 2 weeks, but honestly, I'm really enjoying it, and it is way more affordable than any of the other ones I'm going to talk about. And it's the Touch in Soul No Problem Primer. This is a new launch at Sephora. It is 1 ounce and it's only $18. That to me is drugstore prices nowadays. You cannot beat that. I got it on a whim. I saw it in the Just Arrived section, and honestly it was $18. So I said, what do I have to lose? I'm gonna try this. And I did, and I used it for like 6 days in a row because I like it so much. This is very heavy in silicone, okay? I'm not gonna lie about that. So if you do not like it, that, you know, don't get it. But it has really good reviews, almost 5 stars with 35 reviews. Somebody said the smell was bad. It's a little strong, but honestly, I don't notice. I've never noticed it until I read that. So it comes out in a it's silicone-based light pink formula, and it just it feels so good on the skin, and it really does like suck those pores away. It fills them all in to where it just makes you look like you have nothing. And every single foundation that I've tried over this, which has been at least 5 different ones, has worked absolutely beautifully over this. So honestly, it's a very promising new launch at Sephora and so affordable, and one that I've really been enjoying. Now, my next and final and most favorite primer is probably not going to come as a surprise to you if you have watched my videos before. However, if you are new, this is my 2nd bottle of this primer, and it will not be my last. It is the YSL Touche Éclat Blur Primer. You can see I'm almost already halfway through this bottle. I do not use it every day because it is $52 for 1 ounce. But I'm telling you, nothing makes my foundation look better than this primer. Nothing. I feel like most foundation reviews that I do when I do like daily notes, I feel like the primer that it worked best over is 9 times out of 10 this primer. It's one of those ones where if I don't know how everything else is going to react on my face, but I still want to make sure that my makeup has a good day, I will use this primer and everything ends up being okay. It works pretty much like magic under every single foundation that I own. Very heavy in silicone, but very luxurious, very, very silky smooth. I don't have an issue with my makeup lasting. However, I do have friends that use this and say it does help the longevity of their makeup. It does have 4.5 stars with 1,422 reviews. So that says something. It does have tiny little gold flakes in there. You know, people say gold's not good for your skin, but honestly, when you pump this out and like rub it on your skin, there is no way that that is going to show up and or have any negative effects on your skin with the amount that's in there. It might be a little like luxurious and that's why they put it in there. I don't know. It says it's enriched with 4 nourishing oils: corn oil, apricot kernel oil, passiflora oil, and rice bran oil. Be sure and read your ingredients. You know, if you are allergic to anything like that, you need to know your ingredients because you wouldn't think something like this would have like corn oil in it. Okay, so especially if you're a makeup artist, make sure you know your ingredients, because if your client says they're allergic to something, like you would not think, oh, you're allergic to apricots? Oh, I'm good. None of my stuff has apricots in it. Well, this has apricot kernel oil, and that could still produce a reaction. So just be aware of that. Make sure you do your you know, research before buying a product. But it just, you know, the whole thing is, it's called a blur primer, and that's what it bases itself on, that it's a blurring primer, that it blurs your pores, it blurs your fine lines, it smooths out your skin, and it does all of that. And it looks so, so good. And it's funny that I don't have any of these primers on today. I'm testing out a new one because I'm testing out a new foundation. So that's just me. That's how I roll. I don't ever make sense with what I actually have on my face and how it relates to the video that I'm talking about. But on that note, I will say an honorable mention to a whole line of primers is Cover FX. I have not had any issues with their primers before, and I really like all of them. I have used the calming, the illuminating, the anti-aging, the mattifying, and I'm trying out the blurring powder primer, and I really enjoy all of them, and I think that they are staples in makeup artist kits for a reason, so that's definitely an honorable mention. They are all very good, so if you have ever wondered, there's not one of those that I don't like. So I think that's it. That's my top 5 favorite primers. Hopefully this maybe gave a little bit new insight. I don't know. As always, I want to know on every top 5 video that I do what your favorite product is relating to the category spoken about. So today I want you to tell me in the comment section what your all-time favorite #1 primer is. I'm always curious to know what y'all like and love. So thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope y'all all have a very blessed day.